What is up, Nuggets fans? I am back here again to do another video. In this video, I'll be recapping the Nuggets 113-105 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday. Definitely probably the worst loss at home we've suffered so far this season. I think we are now 3-5 against our division. We're 2-1 against Minnesota this season. 18-22 overall in the year. And again, just a terrible loss at home. Probably our worst loss at home this season to a terrible team in Minnesota. They had only won like 6 games coming into this one, and to lose to them is just pretty pathetic. Looking at some of the good things we did here in this game, there wasn't many, but we did play really well there in that second quarter. We outscored Minnesota 34-19 in that second quarter. I thought our bench played really well in that second quarter, and our second unit really provided us a spark. Darrell Arthur, Alonzo G, and Jameer Nelson really came in off the bench to start that second quarter, and were phenomenal. I thought all of them played really well, especially on the defensive side of the floor. We just given up 37 points in that first quarter, and those guys kind of came in and sparked us, especially on the defensive side of the floor again. And we played with really good tempo as well during that quarter. Did a good job of forcing some turnovers, getting into some passing lanes. Darrell Arthur, I thought, did a great job of showcasing some active hands there in that second quarter, getting some stills, and again did a great job of converting those turnovers into some points, getting out on the break, playing at a good fast tempo, and again playing with some energy on the defensive end, which was definitely lacking from our starters in that first quarter. Forced 15 turnovers. You like seeing that. We had 21 points off of those 15 turnovers here against Minnesota. Again, for the most part, I thought we did a pretty good job of getting into passing lanes, against some stills, and then doing a good job of converting those stills into points in transition. We shot well from the free throw line, 86% in this game from the free throw line for the Nuggets. We were 19-22. You like seeing that. Obviously struggled big time against Dallas making free throws, so it was good to see us improve on a back-to-back, come right back, play Minnesota, and shoot a high percentage from the charity stripe. Again, 86% from the free throw line in this game for the Nuggets. And again, our second unit was phenomenal. In this game, our bench outscored Minnesota's bench 46-20. Again, Jameer Nelson was phenomenal in this game. Darrell Arthur, J.J. Hickson did a great job on the glass, providing us some energy in that regard. And then again, Alonzo G did a great job as well, coming in off the bench, playing some good defense on Andrew Wiggins, and again, all those guys did a great job of really kind of playing with some urgency, sparking us in that second quarter, getting us going on the defensive side of the floor, playing with some energy. Kyle Lawson was great for the Nuggets here in this game. He had 22 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. He was 7-15 from the field, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, and 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He had 8 of his 22 points there in that third quarter. Had a beautiful finish at the rim in this game, where he looked away the defender with a little fake pass, and then came up with the left-handed finish. That was beautiful, and then also knocked down a couple threes, a couple step-back jumpers. Ty Lawson was pretty good in this game. Definitely was kind of invisible in the fourth quarter, which you hate seeing. He really just lacked any aggression at all in that fourth quarter. And Jameer Nelson was also great for the Nuggets in 2 games so far this season for us, since making that trade for him, trading Nate Robinson for him. He's just been great. Really has provided a spark for us off the bench, and really has provided us with some stability off the bench as well that we didn't have at the point guard position with Nate Robinson. He finishes with 16 points and 4 assists here against the Timberwolves. Shot phenomenally well here. He was 7-10 from the field, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Again, did a great job coming in that second quarter, kind of sparking us, especially on defensive end with the second unit. And then he had 11 points there in that second half. Just did a good job being effective, scoring the basketball. Hit a big 3 there in the second half. Also had a buzzer beater right before the end of the third quarter. And did a great job of getting into the teeth of the defense for us as well. I thought he did a great job of really attacking on pick and roll, showing off his handles a little bit here in this game, and again did a great job of getting to the rim, attacking the rim, and just getting into the teeth of the defense and being aggressive, getting into that painted area, which is something that most of our players in this game failed to do. But nonetheless, really good effort by Jameer Nelson. Again, 16 points on 70% shooting. You love seeing that from your backup point guard. Now, looking at some of the bad things we did here in this game, you got to start with the first quarter. We got off to an awful start here against the Timberwolves. We were outscored 37-25 by Minnesota in that first quarter. A lot of that had to do with Andrew Wiggins. He had 15 points in the first quarter. We did a poor job offensively of attacking. Again, for a majority of this game, we settled way too much for jump shots, long jump shots, and three-point shots here in this game. We didn't attack the painted area enough, and we really just got off to a sluggish start there in that first quarter. Again, just settling for way too many perimeter shots. shots. The T-Wolves did a great job of knocking down threes as well. They had 5 threes there in that first quarter. We weren't, again, attacking the paint enough. And then Wilson Chandler and Aaron Flalo, man, they continue to be a burden to this team, in my opinion, and they wasted a ton of shots as well there in that first quarter for us offensively. Out-rebounded in this game as well by Minnesota, 43-39. You hate seeing that, especially at home. They had 8 offensive rebounds, most of which came in the fourth quarter. They did a great job, Minnesota did, in the fourth quarter of getting some offensive rebounds, running some extra clock, but also getting some second chance opportunities and converting on those second chance opportunities. There was a series there in that fourth quarter where Robbie Hummel had 2 straight tip-ins in a row off offensive rebounds. Again, we only shot 41% from the field, so you hate seeing that. Offensively, you're not going to beat many teams in the NBA when you only shoot 41% from the field and you only have 40 points in the paint. Again, we did a poor job all game of attacking the painted area, attacking the rim, getting those high percentage shots, and just settling way too much for three-point shots in this game and for jump shots. We played way too perimeter offensively, and it killed us. That was a big reason you only shot 41% from the field, because you were taking tough, contested perimeter shots here in this game. You weren't getting to the rim. You weren't getting those high percentage looks there in the painted area. And again, in this game, you shoot 31 three-pointers. I mean, you have 31 three-point attempts here in this game. Way too many. We are not the Golden State Warriors. We do not shoot well enough from beyond the arc, from the three-point line, to be taking 31 three-point attempts. Again, you're wasting shots offensively. You're wasting possessions offensively when you do that, and you just settled way too much for those three-point shots and didn't attack the painted area enough to win here against Minnesota. And then on the flip side of things, defensively, you allow 46 points in the paint. You allow Minnesota to shoot 54% from the field. You give up 113 points here to Minnesota. This is a team that only averages 99 points per game. They're a terrible scoring team, and they're a terrible team in general. So to give up 113 points to them at home and then allow them to shoot 54% of their field just is unacceptable. Again, terrible defensive performance, terrible overall performance by the Nuggets here in this game. Our weak side defense was garbage. We did a terrible job of defending screens throughout this game. Again, our switches in this game were terrible. A bunch of guys got lost in this game, got caught in no man's land defensively. And again, it's about communicating better defensively. And you got to go over screens. You can't continuously go underneath screens and expect teams to miss shots. I mean, we were just giving them open look after open look, especially from the perimeter. Again, they had 5 threes there in the first quarter, and they shoot 54% from the field. Just a terrible job defensively by the Nuggets here in this game. Didn't do a good job protecting the rim defensively as well, but really what killed us in this game was our weak side defense, and then again, reading screens wrong and going underneath screens, not defending screens properly as well here against Minnesota. Andrew Wiggins obviously was great for Minnesota as well in this game. Finishes with a career-high 31 points to go along with 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. He was 11-17 from the field, 4 or 5 from the three-point line, and 5 or 6 from the free throw line. Probably one of his best shooting performances of his career so far, if not the best. I mean, he just shot lights out here in this game, had 15 points there in the first quarter, had 10 points in the third quarter. In that first quarter, he went 6 of 6 from the field, hit 3 three-pointers, had a nice dunk on Jusuf Nurkic, did a good job of scoring on a Flalo as well in the block there in the third quarter, kind of taking advantage of his size advantage over a Flalo there in that third quarter. And then defensively, was great on the Flalo as well, had 3 blocks, did a good job of really making it tough for him to score the basketball. And really just showed why he is going to be a special player, man. Great game for Andrew Wiggins. He was a huge reason why the T-Wolves were able to beat us here in this game. And then lastly for the Nuggets, again, Aaron Flalo and Wilson Chandler. I keep telling people, I know a lot of people in the Denver media and a lot of Nuggets fans like to kiss Aaron Flalo and Wilson Chandler's asses, but realistically, I think these are 2 guys that are really a huge burden on this team, because they waste so many possessions and so many shots offensively, and they take so many crappy shots. It's ridiculous. Their shot selection in this game was terrible, and in this game they shot terribly. They only combined for 27 points. That's terrible for your starting 2 guard and your starting small forward, but then they combined to shoot 10 of 30 from the field and 5 of 16 from the three-point line in this game. Again, Aaron Flalo and Wilson Chandler, I think, are really a hindrance on our team offensively, and their shot selection is terrible. They waste so many shots. Again, 27 points on 30 shot attempts. You take 16 three-point attempts between those 2 guys. They had open looks throughout this game, and they couldn't make them. I mean, they have just been terribly inefficient scoring the ball, both of them so far this season, and really have struggled shooting the ball lately. I know Flalo had a nice start to January, but I really think they're 2 big burdens on our team, and you can't expect to win many games when you're starting 2 guard and you're starting small forward again combined for 27 points on 30 shots. I mean, that is just terribly inefficient. Wilson Chandler doesn't know how to attack the basket. Aaron Flalo always goes to the post and shoots stupid fadeaways. Again, they waste so many shots. Those are 30 shot attempts that you could give to guys like Jameer Nelson, Ty Lawson, Darrell Arthur, or just trade these guys. Get trade a Flalo, trade Chandler, get a more efficient scorers for them, better shooters, because there was open look after open look, especially from the three-point that both these guys missed, and they're just chunking up threes. Their shot selection is terrible. Wilson Chandler took like 7 threes, it seemed like, in the fourth quarter. I just can't stand watching both these guys play basketball anymore, man, especially on the offensive side of the floor. Two very big ball hogs, and again, two guys that are terribly inefficient scoring the basketballs. So that's my recap. Nuggets lose to the T-Wolves 113-105. Again, we are now 18-22 on the year. Lost 2 games in a row. We play the Warriors this afternoon on MLK Day. Probably going to lose that game. They're 17-1 at home. Been one of the best teams in basketball this season, if not the best. It's just going to be tough. And again, you lose at home to the T-Wolves, a team that has won 6-7 games all season long. Just a terrible loss at home against a division rival. Horrible performance by the Nuggets, and definitely probably one of our worst losses of the season, and probably our worst home loss for sure.